Hey, welcome back. We're starting section 6 today. So, what's new in section 6? We've got the 8th note and the 8th rest, single 8th note, single 8th rest. Let's talk about how this works. Very simply, it's if you see the 8th note, you play an 8th note. If you see an 8th rest, you play an 8th rest. So, let's make this as simple as we possibly can. Flip back in your book to section 3. You should see right now that first line of section, first line of section 3, when our new symbol was 2 8th notes. So, real quick, imagine what that sounded like. That sounded like 3, and here it is, 1 and 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2, 3, 4, right? That's what that first line of section 3 sounded like. So we had 2 8th notes, one next to the other. Now flip back to line 1 of section 6. Now you've got the 8th rest and an 8th note in place of the 2 8th notes together. So all that means is where we said 1 and, we're just going to not play on 1, and we're going to play on the and, kind of like this. Here's line 1 of section 6. Ready, and go, and 1. And 2, 3, 4, 1, and 2, 3, 4. Yep, that's all it's going to be. That's the only difference between section 3 and section 6. We're just going to rest on those downbeats. Now, for section 6, all of the whole section, the 8th note rests are going to be on a downbeat. Okay, they're all going to be on a downbeat. You can have 8th rests that are on the upbeat, which would mean a short note, and we'll have some of that a little bit later in the book, but for section 6, as you can already see, it's 15 lines. It's the longest section we've had. I was going to keep it right there and keep the idea of resting on the downbeats. So, that's our setup for section 6, and now it's time to do our 5-minute practice. Remember, as always, we're going to sit up tall, we're going to play, and we're going to count out loud while we tap our foot, right? So, let's get started. We're sitting up tall, counting out loud, tapping our foot while we play, and we're going to do this together for 5 minutes. 5 minutes is not quite enough to do all 15 lines, but we're going to go ahead and add a few seconds of practice time today so we get all the way through line 15 and we can start fresh at the top when we practice tomorrow. So, you ready? Let's go. Here it is. Line 1, 2, ready, and go. And 1, and 2, 3, 4, 1, and 2, 3, 4, 1, and 2, 3, 4, 1, and 2, 3, line 2, go. 1, 2, and 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3. Line 3, go. 1, 2, 3, and 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Are you counting with me? Are you playing? 3, and 4, 1, 2, 3, line 4, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3. Now we're going to have 2 rests in line 5. Here is 1, and 2, and 3, 4, 1, and 2, and 3, 4, 1, and 2, and 3, 4, and 2, and 3, line 6, go. 1, and 2, 3, 4, and 1, and 2, 3, 4, and 1, and 2, 3, here comes line 7, and 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, and line 8, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4, 1, 2, and 3, and 4, 1, 2, and 3, and 4, 1, 2, and 3. Look ahead, and 9, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, 1, and 2, and 3, and line 10, go, 1, and 2, and 3, 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, 4, and 1, and 2, and 3. Look to the top of the next page, and 1, and 2, 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, 3, and line 12, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1. Look ahead, 2, and 3. Next line, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, and 2, and 3, line 14, and 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, and 3. Last line, go. 1, and 2, 3, and 4, 1, and 2, 3, and 4, 1, and 2, 3, and 4, 1, and 2, 3, 4. Beautiful job. Hey, you feeling it? You feeling good about it? Good. Great. We just went through line 6 for the first time at 40 beats per minute. You did a great job. I hope you were tapping your foot and counting through. This is really the beginning of where this book becomes really applicable for all instruments. It takes a lot of time to get to where we can set up to understand the material in line 6, but hopefully as you play some of these, especially as we get into the slightly faster tempos, you're going to start to hear things, rhythms that you recognize from music that is your favorite music. You're going to start to hear some of these lines come alive to music that's already in your head. And that's when this is going to get really interesting. Hopefully you'll start to see just how valuable this really is. I'm excited to be walking you through this, walking with you, helping you learn. So without taking any more of your time, we went a little bit long in the practicing because I wanted to get all the way through all the material, and we'll probably do that again for our next session. But you have a great rest of your day. You should be really proud of yourself, and I'll see you for our next session tomorrow.